Morning, YouTubers. Working today on the last dead eye on this top crow's nest in the middle mast. Get this last dead eye done and we can do the ladder rope. Rat lines. Well. It's like no glue went on there at all. All bunched up on the end. You see this one floating here with a counterweight on the other side. Get that baby through there. So the more you do, the more streamlined little tricks you find. But getting the string through this hole, no matter how many tricks you learn, is not easy. So one of the other tricks I did pick up in the last few days was once I get going here with a couple more loops, I'm going to put a counterweight on this so that it keeps pressure on that as we're looping it, and that helps in the end when you get near ready to tie. Helps keep it at the right height. So you don't have to do all that slack pulling trying to get the thing to stay lined up with the other ones. So you can see now it's just a little high. When I pull on these two, I'm able to bring it down to the right height. So this is about the time I want to put that counterweight on the other one. And I can keep tension on this to keep that dead eye at the right height compared to these here. So this thread is getting a little fat on this end, but if I can get it through these last two holes, should be good. Then we'll go to the other side and be done with the middle mast, crow's nest, dead eyes. you see it's a little bit low. When I pull on this tail that's going up, that lines it up pretty good, so we'll tie this off here. Get that little slip knot to grab onto that rope. And before we cut that tail, we're gonna a little super glue on there. Okay. Now the slack on the bottom tail. See, when I pull on this here, it gets that just right. In order to tie this, I'm going to cut a little bit extra because I use the extra to do the little white knots up here. When we get to the other side, we'll need a couple short pieces. There we go. Trying to get all the slack out and keep that at the right height. This looks pretty good. Now, add it carefully. Spin this baby around. Posted a video a couple months back about the Cuddy Sark that I built several years ago. I didn't have any video of the construction. I just got a lot of still shots, and just like you saw me there, picking this up and spinning it around. One time I was doing that while I was building the Cuddy Sark and dropped that thing. Broke a big old hole in the side of it. I don't remember how it all happened exactly, but I know that I dropped it and broke it. A big old hole in the side. So I just improvised, and instead of trying to patch all that planking on the side, and the hole was below the water line, I just took the dremel and opened the hole up to the different deck sections and the ribs of the ship, and put a bunch of stuff in there. I think it was like 3 different levels that got exposed below the water line. So you can see here I'm using this needle to hold the dead eye, and I'm cinching the knot slightly, trying to get that dead eye at the right height when I pull tension on it where it's even with the other ones. And once I get that pretty close, I'm going to cinch it really hard and then tie another granny knot to lock it. On that Cutty Sark, I probably spent several days making bunk beds and ladders and a bunch of little storage items that you would put under the near the bottom of the water line of the ship. Painting and everything, so it came out really good. It's like a cutaway of what's inside. So I was happy with it, but it was a lot of work just to do the repair on the stupid move I made dropping it. So that tape I just put on here up above the slack of this knot that we just tied. It's going to stay on there until we get done with this loop and rope, and then we'll tie our 3 little knots to hold the main loop. And cut the tail off and take the tape off. So getting a little super glue on this guy. Get this thing cocked in the gun just right before I fire. I'm gonna shoot this rope right through the hole. The bottom hole, because the tail will get tied off at the bottom, so go through the bottom hole first. Yeah, you're fighting it doing it from the back, but your knots and everything end up in the back, so it looks better when you're done if you start going through from the back instead of coming through from the front. Obviously coming through from the front's easier, so then your knots are exposed. The less things we got exposed, the better the end product is. We'll put another little counterweight. Not quite yet though, eh? I'll get it on there ready. So I got eeny, meeny, miny, mo. The last spot I'm going to end up at is this hole here, and if I go through the left side, come up and go in the left side there, come back down, go on the right side. Yep, so I want to go in the left side. Mr. Mufasa came in the shed here. I'll let click clacking on the floor. Yeah, see that? That extra counterweight over there is helping this stay taut instead of a bunch of sloppy loops while you're doing all this threading. Ever seen a dog try to dig a hole through a wooden floor? So I think that was hitting the other rope, but I'm not. Yeah, it was. So here's the last threaded hole. And it's at the right height. A little choker knot there. I'm going to do one more for insurance. So you can see I got a little loop of slack here, and this is just a little high. So I should have pulled on that a little more the other way. But we'll get it here. We gotta find the right one. Hopefully we'll get it here. That one there, that goes in the top, so we want to pull this one here. There we go. That did it. It's hard to figure out what the right one to pull on. Now, cut this tail. Tie this baby off. Voila. and then we'll use one of these, oops, use one of these short pieces here. There we go there. That one on the next one. Oop. Well, you see, that knot blew up. The second knot blew up. As it's always better to put the glue on before you cut it. That's why I didn't cut this one back here. I'm gonna let that slip knot dry before I cut it. Okay, one more. Now this time, little dab will do you there. And that's the last of really 10 dead eyes, but it's 5 wide. So we got 20 dead eyes that we tied on this side. We'll take that tape off now. Cut this tail. Voila. Now we'll be ready for rat lines. Move the camera back here. You can see that the front mast is not installed yet. It's ready to go in. Big old hole there. But I'm not going to install that until we get done with this, because working around this middle mast, this being in the way, gives a good chance of it getting broken off or damaged in some way. So the same goes with the bow mast. You saw me just pick that whole ship up and move it around. I got stuff like this sticking out and I'm not ready to do the work on it yet. Going to get damaged or broke off, so I'll leave these off until I actually get to the point where I need to install them, and that'll be, once we finish this middle mast, we'll work on the front one, and then we'll work on this bow mast. This is the sail poles that'll hold the sails. All the rigging and everything is on there ready to go. I still have 3 or 4 sail poles to make for the middle and the back mast and the front mast. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those done already, ready to go on, but I still got several more to build. We'll do that when we get to the sails. Get most of the rigging in that area done before we actually put them on there. That's another milestone. Next step is work on the rope ladders, the rat lines, and a little rope ladder here to match this one. And we'll be stepping forward to more progress and accomplishments that are very gratifying. Now these cannon doors are just super glued in place. I might spend the time later on after I paint them to put a little piece of wire looking like going through the hole. The plans don't show anything other than what you see now, so it wouldn't hurt to make it more realistic. It's just more work. Some of the larger ships I've seen have some apparatus to open and close the doors from inside the ship, and then they have, to complicate it even worse, they have several ropes and pulleys and stuff around each cannon, so when the cannon fires it doesn't go backwards and run over somebody. But the plans for this ship don't show any of that rigging, so once we get to the point where we feel like we're almost done, we'll consider doing something like that. But otherwise, it's not there because the plans don't show it to be there. Well, thank you for watching. Have a nice day.